Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles. That's right, Bob. Hello, Bob. We're both really glad that you're here. And this week we wanted to talk a little bit about truths about breakthroughs.
Oh, am I going to like this?
Don't know, Bob.
You don't really care, do you?
Not really, Bob. You know, in a world that glamorises big breakthroughs, it is easy to overlook the significance of the small victories in our journey. For a people pleaser, saying no successfully to a request without it causing any troubles or, any concerns or worries, in your private moments feels like an enormous win. The other day, a friend had turned down her son to babysit for a day. She does a lot of babysitting and loves it too, but she found unexpectedly a mellow kind of peace in not saying yes, mainly because she wanted to preserve her energy. She was considering herself. She'd been through a lot and needed a few days to feel well, not just be okay. And it was not like anyone was giving her a hard time about it, but it was just that she wasn't giving herself a hard time about it. She'd been getting around on very little energy and finally could see that she just needed to stop. So she just said no.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And it felt like a big accomplishment. She didn't ever actually say no, that's why. In fact, she'd sign up to be of help in any capacity and had done it for so long that she didn't realise she'd been doing it to the detriment of her own well-being. The truth is, most of our progress is made in the mundane.
Oh, boy, ain't that the truth?
Sure is, Bob. Everyday actions that often go unnoticed and uncelebrated, and they need to be celebrated, especially for those of us that give of ourselves and wonder why we're knackered and we're burnt out. When did we hand over our life? When did we start to feel guilty about having our own life? Achieving that middle place is a challenge enough when you don't know that you've handed over your time, and not because you don't care for your family, but because you've stopped caring about yourself. You've stopped making plans for yourself. Oh my God, talking about what is currently going on in my life in one shape or another. So, as we know, there are usually no recognitions or external validations for these subtle milestones, these quiet steps we take each day. It is then too bloody easy to not note your improvement, your all-important growth. Because if we are acknowledging that and we're liking it, then we want more of it, more of our own life, more energy, and that counting on yourself. It is all too easy to feel like nothing we're doing is actually making any difference.
But you'd be wrong.
And this is where I don't mind being wrong. Yeah, so as I was saying before, if we feel like our efforts are not making a difference because we don't see immediate changes, it is still progress that is happening, even if it's not obvious. I believe it comes back to celebrating those incremental changes, those small acts and or decisions, usually unexciting events. That's because that cause you to feel like you're heading most definitely in the right direction. You've got to allow yourself to feel proud, even if it is just quietly to yourself. And this contributes to your growth, to how you walk through this life, how you walk through your life. Keep forging ahead and stay focused and simply trust that you are on the right path. And the thing about focus, I have observed is if you decide to be focused, you're going to reach a goal. Better than that, you'll create a goal. You will change your life.
How is that possible?
Well, Bob, until you've actually done it, it seems a bit woo-woo. We are more aligned to impossible than we are to say possibility thinking.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm simply saying, through my own observations and my own experience, that is the only answer. If nothing else, you improve your outlook, your general feeling in life, and that general feeling feels bloody good. How many people do you meet when you ask, how are you going? Reply with, bloody good, yeah, I'm really good.
Hardly anyone. Wait, I'm trying to remember the last time anyone actually said that to me.
Exactly my point. Hence why when I say, yes, I'm bloody good, the responses I get range from, what drugs am I on? Can I have some of your drugs or whatever it is you're on? And they never want to hear attitude, I decide to feel this way. That just goes, doesn't go down well at all. Nobody wants to hear that. You're being a bit of a smarty pants, aren't you? Well, you are. Well, you're not really. You've just made a decision. Another super duper important piece of advice I would give is you don't always need a plan. Sometimes you just need to breathe, trust, let go, and see what happens. I believe with my whole heart that if you believe in you, or even try a little to believe in you, the energy, the efforts that you radiate directs the undercurrent guiding your life and will take you wherever you want to go or where life is guiding you. Hashtag truths about breakthroughs. So it's not like you will often have that head-spinning moment and an epiphany, a Kazam moment.
I love that word, epiphany.
Oh, that's good, Bob. Thanks for that.
It's all right.
It is a series of tiny moments that I've imposed on myself. There is a ton of fakery everywhere, and mostly I think we forget to know that, like the happy holiday snaps. And the truth of it is everyone is miserable, tired, and they just want to get home to their own bed. The food is expensive, yuck, and there's crowds everywhere or nothing to do. I know this because of holidays I've had. Not all of them, but some of them. But when you look at the pictures, yeah, we look like we are having the time of our lives. So it's just hard work depending on who's going and why you're going. And the photos were a glimpse into perfect skies and a popular destination. And not to say great holidays don't occur, of course they do. But the best parts are not documented. There's nothing to prove.
Oh, yeah, look at me, I'm eating a nice meal.
Yeah, that's right, Bob. I've had breakthroughs while, emptying the recycling out, pulling out weeds, walking down a street, driving to the supermarket. Nothing exceptional, just the idea arrives in the most unlikely place. More importantly, the answer, a suggestion, help of some kind arrives.
So what's the science?
Well, funny you should say, Bob. In science, advances are a daily occurrence, aren't they? But true breakthroughs are rare. Other major breakthroughs stem from scientists pursuing a very specific dream. One day, usually early in their career, they get an idea that they can't stop thinking about. It's just crazy, they say to themselves. Is it really possible? Is it impossible? They talk to reputable colleagues who often prompt them into remembering all the reasons their idea might not work and how damaging this could be for their career.
Oh, how unusual.
I know, it's everywhere. Because let's face it, how often do people wholeheartedly say, yeah, great idea, go for it? Not often. We always see the fly in the ointment. It's a stiff message, yet the idea won't die. Ideas don't die. So they clamour to find financial support, seek out colleagues who are willing to risk going for gold, a road that may well lead nowhere, but sometimes the road leads to major breakthroughs like penicillin and vaccines and other things. And one day, in 1928, I thought this was just great, Dr. Alexander Fleming at St Mary's Hospital in London was growing bacteria in a laboratory dish, and he wasn't actually pursuing a scientific dream. He was a microbiologist, simply doing his job. Then he noticed something odd. Overnight, another kind of microbe, a fungus, had travelled through the air, landed on the laboratory dish and started to grow and spread on the dish where the bacteria was growing. Dr. Fleming soon noticed that the growing fungus seemed to be killing the bacteria. He speculated that it was making some substance that killed the bacteria. Because the name of the fungus was penicillin rubens, he called the substance the fungus was making penicillin. When Fleming published a paper about his discovery, few were interested. It took another 10 years before other scientists tried to generate large amounts of penicillin to see if it might be able to cure bacterial infections, save lives and all that jazz. And we all know how that worked out. Fleming's scientific breakthrough, like some others, occurred not because Fleming had a brilliant idea and exclaimed, "Eureka!" Thank you, Bob. Instead, it occurred because he noticed something and said, "That's odd," and then tried to work it out. Of course, a relentless obsession with an improbable dream fails to pay off for many scientists. Their ideas, while quite brilliant, in the end are proved wrong. Nature doesn't turn out to operate the way they predicted. In the end, their lovely theory is murdered by a savage crew of facts.
Oh, that was very interesting.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
I was thinking the other day the extra things I carry in my handbag.
Oh, here we go. Nothing like a, flow-on subject there.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. And when I'm out and about with my husband...
Oh, here we go, one of your famous segues.
Shut up, Bob. One of my darling daughters said to me, "You always have so much in your handbags. Maybe consider getting a smaller bag, Mum. It'll be better for your back, balance, etc." Which, of course, she's quite correct. But the reality is this. For years, I carried around Band-Aids.
You still do.
Extra wipes.
Yes.
Hair ties, a drink or two.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I had 3 kids, snacks and lots of bits and pieces, especially, when they were babies. Point is, I then progressed to carrying extra things for my husband when he didn't feel like carrying an extra 4 ounces. It was in my bag, including his phone. A woman's bag is the holder of all things, and a lot of it is not for her convenience, I can assure you. So that was a minor breakthrough, but a breakthrough nonetheless. And I'll take it. So I have to re-look at my handbag situation. I no longer enjoy having a handbag. It's just a bloody workhorse tool. Interestingly, none of my daughters have handbags.
Yeah, that's true. They don't.
I would say if you feel like there are no breakthroughs happening right now, just keep going. Your breakthroughs are coming. Sometimes we're asking for, praying for a dose of wisdom, the kind that turns challenges into chances to grow. When things are, get really truly out of hand, I've seen them for the longest time, that big blessings are on their way, or call them what you will. We simply cannot live amongst obstacles all the time. Sometimes you can feel thought patterns are changing. You feel protected from negative energies that can manipulate the mind. And when you feel the changes coming on, you feel peace in the brain and in your heart, and then you can access necessary information.
What kind of info would this be?
Well, you may understand, Bob, that part of the answer is to be yourself. Too much of our energy can be fragmented into focusing on others. As you clear those attachments, you can take a deep breath and simply appreciate where you're at today. Life is better than you may realise and appreciate. And from this view, you can feel you are at a new beginning with a clearer mind, softer, clearer eyes. You're free to live your life on a brand new trajectory. No one is holding you against your will, instead of venturing back into the known familiar state of the mind. And by familiar, I mean that part of the mind that is whiny, scared of everything, just gets into loops of negative thinking. So venture into the unknown. There is a new adventure waiting for you. And that is worth one of those. That's right. And if you have experienced that, then you'll know how simple and amazing it is. All in one swoop. Soup? Must make some later. Highly recommend. Spiritual, powerful women know that they can create as fruitful foundation for themselves as they wish. We spiritual women can help each other lead with our gifts. Hashtag truths about breakthroughs. You can orchestrate your own breakthrough. I was going through a really tough time, months of it actually. I'd never experienced what can only be called as what felt like bad luck. Everything, honestly, well, it was just going wrong. And it was quite heavy duty in places, and it was relentless.
I remember that.
I know. I think why it stood out, because I have always considered myself to be quite a lucky person, regardless of what has happened. I've always thought quite a lucky person. And I said in a moment of total exhaustion and disillusionment, I feel cursed. And this is not the first time I detected that sensation in my life. And I look back as to what I did when I had reached that place of total vulnerability. I had to access my gifts, do what I do naturally that lifts my spirits almost immediately, and then I keep it up while enjoying a sense of peace, and more than that, a soft kind of strength. It was a time to counterbalance harsh realities and access my own deeper meaning of what was transpiring in my life and what was true for me, instead of fighting myself or fighting what others or society or the rules of, businesses are dictating to you. I decided to embrace myself, because this situation I found myself in, I found that I was unable to rest. I had to stay focused on being organised and the support to another person. My life changed overnight. I could not plan anything or be with any of my family or friends. It was just dark, suddenly, very quickly. I was also at the tail end of healing my family tree. As you can imagine, that was not a quick fix. That was years of work, awareness and acceptance. There was nothing I could do for them. It was time to avoid burnout and releasing all of those responsibilities. Then it transformed to a much closer to home to take on far more of a serious mission. It is with mixed emotions, grief and gratitude. And none of this is for the faint-hearted, as you know. I hope these words speak to you. So what did I do? What I did, I immediately handed over everything to powers greater than any of us can imagine, me included, of course. I lit a candle and placed it under my lemon tree. That's what I did. And my lemon tree was to be the receiver of my petitions. As said by Craig Harper, your body is always talking to you, and unlike your mind, it doesn't bullshit. Oh my gosh, that's so true. Yeah.
That's right.
That's right, Bob. We really do have to get okay with uncertainty because that is life. It is uncertain. Life couldn't give a donkey's about your fears and concerns or your goals and dreams. You, on the other hand, are a whole lot of shit hotness. You are your own hero and you're in the driver's seat. And all of the other pseudo-inspirational metaphors that I can't find at this minute, as I said before, on all my natural vegetable-based little soapbox here, you got to be comfortable in being uncomfortable sometimes. You got to be able to read the room and go, you're right, it's one of those times. I'm uncomfortable, so something's afoot. There are some things we can control. We all know that, like what time you're going to go to bed. You got to avoid energy vampires. Live within your values. Know what your values are. Laugh at as much silly shit as possible. Respect your body, man. Stay humble. Be grateful and be the person that doesn't give up. As far as plans go, I don't think this is the worst. And on the subject of relationships, I cannot say this one loud enough. Have a great one with yourself first.
Yeah. Don't we know this?
Absolutely. Because when you are bringing in your neuroses, your insecurity, your toxic thinking into any relationship, if you haven't healed all those aspects of yourself, it's unlikely to be anything healthy and happy over the long term. Hashtag truths about breakthroughs. That breakthrough has to be that you are really getting to know yourself and caring about yourself well. Self-care, I'm very interested in it, and seeing as I talk about it a lot, has made me so much more aware of how true am I being to myself, to my self-care. It is a known fact that thinking yourself sick, for example, ongoing negative thinking, rumination, obsession, and gloomy storytelling to yourself is potentially going to lead to a disastrous outcome and a bloody miserable life at that. And for anyone around you, there are many world-class experts on the subject of the placebo effect, and it is fascinating and relieving to know that there are many different ways to think and ultimately live your life. I know I'm on the right path. Are you?
So, the placebo effect, what's that?
Well, Bob.
Yeah, Linda.
Well, as per the Cambridge Dictionary, a substance given to someone who is told that it is a particular medicine, either to make that person feel as if they are getting better or to compare the effect of the particular medicine when given to others.
Hey, I went to a concert to feel better today. Thought it was a cure, but it turned out to be just placebo. Ho, ho, ho.
The placebo effect, though, is for real. Recent research on the placebo effect only confirms how powerful it can be and that the benefits of a placebo treatment aren't just all in your head. Measurable physiological changes can be observed in those taking a placebo, similar to those observed among people taking effective medications. In particular, blood pressure, heart rate and various blood test results have been shown to change among subsets of research subjects who responded to a placebo.
Why are we not using the placebo effect more then?
Well, because it isn't therapeutic on anyone. That's the reasoning I found on reading some research. It is actually quite remarkable. The power of expectation is formidable and probably plays a significant role in the benefits and the side effects of commonly prescribed medications. So if you're told you're likely to get a headache with medication, there's a larger chance you will experience the headache.
Oh, that's pretty fascinating. So it's like a powerful suggestion.
Precisely. Some research is showing that the power of suggestion, the placebo effect, is in fact getting more stronger over the years when they've looked back and forth at various research times. And scientists found that under the right circumstances, a placebo can be just as effective as traditional treatments. So placebos may make you feel better, but they will not cure you. They have been shown to be most effective for conditions like pain management, stress-related insomnia, and cancer treatment side effects like fatigue and nausea.
I'm almost sorry I asked.
Ah, shut up, Bob.
Hey, what do you call a fake opera singer?
Tell me.
Placebo Domingo.
Bob, I'm not sure if I can keep up with all this placebo and breakthrough business. It's okay. You know, sometimes you've just got to go with the flow though, don't you? It'll all be over soon.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, I think I've had a bit of a breakthrough with all this placebo talk.
Well, you've got to like that. That sounds good, Bob.
Yeah, well, no, not really.
Making important breakthroughs for yourself with intention and care is a transformative process that requires a blend of purpose and compassion. By setting clear goals, planning thoughtfully, and nurturing yourself along the way, you create a fertile ground for lasting personal growth and achievement. This approach not only helps you reach your goals, but also enriches your life, your journey, making it all meaningful, and without trying, it becomes a part of your overall development. This, of course, will only be of interest if it sparks something in you, and I only hope that it does. And it's that time again.
Yeah, I knew it was happening. You mentioned it before.
Don't be sad, Bob. We'll be back before you know.
Yeah, okay then.
Small breakthroughs are the foundation of any significant achievement. And as we part ways today, I want to leave you with a thought that resonates deeply with me and hopefully with you. Every great journey is built on small steps, and every monumental achievement starts with a single, humble breakthrough.
Parting ways always brings me great sorrow.
I know, Bob, but think of the small adjustments we can make along the way every day. Every tweak, every minor success has paved the path for next things. It's easy to overlook these incremental gains, but they are the building blocks of something much greater.
And really important.
All of it, Bob, for sure. So, say g'day to the family for me, give the wolf spider a whistle, and we'll see you next time, okay? All right then. Bye.
Bye-bye.